Visual and special effects drum roll.
Hi, my name is Cato Perugini, and I'd like to welcome you to my visual and special effects drumming video. None of the techniques you're about to see are going to be traditional. I'm going to show you how to enhance your visual style of playing by adding visual and special effects to your drumming so you can become an equal part of the band's live show. You may have seen some of the techniques I'm going to show you, but I'm going to teach you how to do them and incorporate them into your own playing style. So if you're ready to have some fun, come on, let's go. whenever you put all you have into a solo, you are going to be tired at the end of it, especially if you add visual and special effects to it. What I'm going to do right now is show you how to set up your drums to make it easier to incorporate these moves. First, this is a very basic and important point. You should never have your drums so they're blocking you out of view, as well as your cymbals. As you can see, I have a lot of cymbals, but they're positioned so they're not blocking me out from the audience. If you can't see the audience and look into someone's eyes or have eye contact, you won't be able to be a visually exciting drummer. Once you're comfortable with one particular setup, I have a way of making setting up your drums much quicker and easier. I have my drum tech, Dave, here, and he's going to help me out today. So what we're doing here is we get a gig rug or anything that you can put down before you put down your drums. And what I like to do is take duct tape or masking tape and we put it under the stands like so. Okay. All right. When we have it in position, we trace a magic marker around it, which is very easy to do. You just swab it around there. And when you take it off, it goes back in the same exact position. Okay, the same thing goes with the stand itself. You just wrap your thing around the stand like this, mark it, and mark an up and down line also. The reason why we do this is when we take the stand up and down to put it away, and we put it back, it goes in the same exact position. The same thing we do with the pedals is we mark around the pedal with the magic marker. First we put the tape, of course, and then we mark which it's for. This is our right pedal. So when we take it off, we know we have a right pedal here, and it's marked right here. R for right. Okay? This makes setting up your drums much quicker and easier, and you can focus on your visual techniques and your playing without having to worry about things out of position. Now, having the largest set or the most impressive looking set is not going to make you a special effect or visual player. You can have the smallest kit and still do the same thing. So just remember, if you do have a small kit, don't feel left out. The last point and most important point is you're a musician first and a showman second. If you add all the visuals and special techniques and your timing is off, you're losing the whole point. So if you practice these techniques slowly and you steadily put them into your playing style, you'll be able to keep a good groove and good timekeeping. And that's the key. Welcome to the Long Island Drum Center in Queens, New York. They were nice enough to let us use this facility for this segment of the video. But now back to business. When you're playing, you begin to sweat. Now, if you're going to sweat, which I do a lot of times, you're going to drop drumsticks because they get slippery. So what I find it necessary to do is to treat the drumsticks. And it makes it easier for me to do spins and catches and throws. First thing I'd like to show you is stick wraps. There's a lot of different stick wraps on the market. But what they basically do is cover the drumstick in the playing area, and they leave like a rough surface or a fabric type material. Now it makes it nice and easy to play, so you don't have to grip the stick and get all tense. And it's easy to play when you're in a relaxed mode. Also, they come in nice colors. As you can see here, I have pink, and I have orange, and I have green, and they come in swirly colors, all different kinds of things, so they can enhance your sticks themselves. Now sometimes I use gloves. I really don't like using gloves, but sometimes when you're playing a lot of gigs, you'll get like blisters or big calluses on your hand, and you'll find the need for them. So let me just show you some gloves that I've used in the past, and I'll show you what I do to them to help me play with the sticks better. Okay? Sometimes I cut the tips off because it makes it easier to do spins, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So what I do is this. The hands are cut, so my fingers are exposed, so I can have greater control on the sticks. So when I'm doing spinning, catching, whatever, it makes it a lot easier to control it. And I also get the same protection in the hands with the glove. So, okay, what I find is a more economical way would be to sand the drumstick, which is another method I use. Use this drumstick to show you. And with the playing area, you usually have this kind of coating on it that makes it a little slippery when you're playing. So what I do is I just sand the stick. And as you can see, it leaves a nice rough surface. And when you sweat, your sweat can be absorbed right into the stick itself. Okay. What I do is chopping, which is really good for me. And I take this out. And what I do is I chop the stick at a 45-degree angle. Now, to me, I find that this works best for me. It may not work best for you, but you could try it. At first, I would do less chops in it, because if your hands are a little soft, you might have a problem with it. But you just chop it at a 45-degree angle like this, like a Boy Scout cut, making a nice rough edge. And this is the favorite method I like to use. Now also, what I do is I treat my sticks as I put black and white tape. Now what this does is gives me an identity for my stick itself. And it also makes it look cool when you're doing things like spins. As you can see, you get a nice tracer effect. And it's just like customizing of your sticks. There's many different ways. You could put stripes like this. You could put different colors. And they have a lot of different sticks on the market today. So, if you're going to customize it, the only thing I can say is use your imagination and whatever works for you. Movement is extremely important in visual and special effects drumming. Just look at the difference exaggerated movement makes. You can play regular, or you can move your arms just a little bit higher, throw your arm around your head in a circle, and you can see how much better it looks. Keep in mind that anything you do a little different than the next drummer helps you to make a lasting impression on the audience. And by exaggerating your moves and putting in combinations of techniques that we will discuss, it helps to make you as exciting as the guitarist who can run around all over the stage and get right into the crowd's face. You should also try to have as much energy as possible. If you look like you're dying every time you move your arms, the audience is not going to watch you. If you try to stay in good shape physically, that will help you to keep your energy level up. Try to practice your entire set with the moves that you'll think you'll do. This will give you a better idea on your physical limits. You might feel great one night and think you're capable of going all out with these techniques. You don't want to burn yourself out in the fifth song. So you can push yourself and try adding new things, but do not do it all at once. If you incorporate your visual and special effects into your show at a steady pace, you're more likely to be successful. Having eye contact with the crowd is a very powerful and visual effect. I've seen all too many drummers play the drums and just look down at their hi-hat, look down at their cymbals, don't even acknowledge that a crowd is there. And, you know, how could you be a visual drummer or even be exciting if you're not even paying attention to your crowd that's, you know, come to see you? The only way you could get into them is if they get into you, and the only way to do that is really to look at them. What I do is usually I would stand up and I'd point a drumstick at somebody, and, you know, just to make it more personable. You get the effect of somebody looking at you and you look at them, and it just makes all the world a difference. And if the melody in the song is right, by all means, just get up, walk around the kit, and have some fun, because that's really what it's all about, just having fun. Playing drums in a visual way is very easy if you use your imagination. Exaggeration and long arm movements are the key. I'm going to demonstrate some of these points to you right now. The key to adding long arm movements in your style is the timing. You must relate the timing with the long arm movement, so you make sure you have enough space in between your moves. So just remember that. Crossovers are a very impressive thing and very easy to do also. The profile of a crossover on a drum set is anywhere where your drumsticks are actually crossing over each other. I'm going to demonstrate these techniques. What I like to do on my set is cross toms. And what I do is I take the beat end of the stick and the butt end, and I play it on the third and the fourth rack tom, at the same time simultaneously getting a nice bounce. I could do this on my second and third or my first and second tom, but for demonstration purposes I'm going to use my third and fourth. And the bounce goes like this. Now, depending on how hard you hit the tom, that's going to depend on how hard it comes off the tom. Now, what I also like to do is a floor tom bounce. Now, sometimes when you're playing on the floor tom, since it's only one drum, you're going to get a sympathetic type of hit. And what I mean is that you're not going to get the full sound of the tom. So what I do is usually back it up with another tom. And it sounds like this. I'm going to add also a bass drum into it also. As you can see, sometimes it does come out of control. But look, if you drop a stick, don't panic. Because like I said earlier before, if you try to do it and you don't succeed, it's always like that try again method. So just don't panic and try to move. This is another cool little technique. I call this my slide-off technique. Some people call it a sloppy-off, some people call it a flam-off, but I'll call it a slide-off. Now what you do is you take your drumstick, and as you're playing a rhythm, you actually hit the tom-tom, and you actually like slide it down in a sliding motion. You get like a triplet type sound. You can do this on your toms to your snare, your top tom to your floor tom-toms, or your top rack toms to your snare drum. I'll show you some of these variations right now. Another technique that I like to do is what I call a timpani effect. And what I do is I place my foot on my last floor tom-tom, and I depress it, and I release it. And that gives me that timpani type sound. I like to put this in during my drum solo, like in the middle section, to add that dramatic appeal. Now I'll show you how this one works. I'm going to be playing a drum roll and depressing right now. Now what I also like doing during my drum solo is standing up and using long movement to dramatize this more. If this could work for you, by all means use it. favorite topic. There's so many things you can do with cymbals, and I like to show them to you. Okay, the first thing we're going to get into is the basic cymbal catch. What I like to do is just go across and catch it with the opposite hand. Or we can catch it with the same hand. Okay? But if you're doing that in a song, that's cool, but it's just too easy. So I like to add spice and add the visual effect to it. So what I'll do is like this. I'll just demonstrate for you. Now if you're going to stand up and get some movement involved in it, you're getting more visual. And that's what it's basically about, the visual part and the movement. Okay, let's go to a choke stop or a choke catch. What I do is I stop the cymbal with my stick, and I'll demonstrate this, and you'll hear how it sounds. As you can see, it's an effective stop, but you don't get that full tonal stop. But it does work in a dynamic situation. Now, the other stop I'm going to explain is a full tonal stop. And this is one you'll be using your own. I'll demonstrate this for you. Let's do that one more time. As you can see, my full arm is going across the cymbal, and I'm getting a full tonal stop. That can add a very dynamic statement in a very pivotal part of a song. Also, if you want to get fancy on cymbal catches, there's all different other ways, and I'll demonstrate them for you also. This is called my elbow stop. Okay, I'll do that one more time. As you can see, you could do these cymbal stops, but you'd have to add them in where you have the proper spacing. So just keep that in mind when you're doing them. Crossover techniques on the cymbals will be anywhere where you cross over your arms as you're playing. And I'll demonstrate how this looks as I'm playing. One of my favorite cymbal techniques would be the paint the fence technique. The reason why I call it paint the fence is because it's just like painting the fence motion. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate these on all my cymbals, and I'm going to be playing a full downstroke and a full upstroke in the reverse fashion. Also, I'll be doing from underneath the cymbal and switching and coming down. I'll also be doing a couple fanning techniques that I like to add also in a live playing situation. So here I go. Cymbals are very dramatic, and when you hit one, people almost have to listen to you. I have my cymbals set up so I can get the most out of them visually and musically. It is very easy to use combinations of paint the fence, fanning, crashes, catches, and anything and everything that comes to mind for a great finale. When you are practically hitting all of your cymbals at once and the lights are flashing off them, it gives the illusion that the entire kit is in motion and creates a very stunning effect. Introduction to songs. Why just use that 1, 2, 3, 4 thing when you can have so many assets around your drum set or in your playing environment? I like to spice up little things. Instead of just saying, 1, 2, 3, 4 and getting into a song, I like to do things with my sticks, being like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe adding something visual like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, or adding even the cowbell and going 1, 2, 3, 4. Or instead of not even going 1, 2, 3, 4, just going. Or even on your kit, you could do it 1, 2, and you're into a song. These techniques you could use on stage lighting, on rigs, on anything around you. Road cases. If you have your drum roadie going by, one pop. Always do it for me. There are so many different variations of a stick spin, it would be impossible to cover them all. So I'm going to cover the basic frontal stick spin. Now the reason why I say frontal is because if you do a stick spin horizontally, it might look something like this. Now, if you watch it horizontally, now watch the difference when it becomes a frontal spin. You can see how much longer the stick looks as it's spinning. Now accomplishing this stick spin is easy. You take your 2 front fingers and you place a stick in your 2 front fingers, and with a pushing motion or a pumping motion, you pull down on the stick while twisting your wrist. That is a frontal spin. Now, a frontal spin can be used across. As you're going across. It could be going across your body this way, or even just high. Now, there are many different variations, as I said, of a drum spin, so I'm going to just tell you a couple right now. Here's a cross spin I like to use. It goes horizontal motion, 1, 2. Now, I can incorporate this into my playing also, as well as a frontal and a backward spin. Frontal, backward, frontal, backward. I'm going to add this in to a playing style, and you can see how it looks as I'm playing. you are playing a slower time, you obviously have more space. Space is very important in doing any spins. You must have enough time to be able to do a full spin and be in time musically. The key to all visual and special effects is to remember that the music comes first. If you are playing a very fast, intricate piece, the amount of visual techniques possible is going to be very limited. Basically, the visual techniques that are not direct hits are going to be filled with movement. And believe me, it does get tiring. Stick flips are also a favorite of mine. Once I saw Neil Peart in concert do a stick flip, and I was hooked. Stick flips look great when you're playing and just adding them into your playing style. And when you catch them, it's even better. Sometimes you could drop them, but I'm going to show you some techniques right now that you could even hide it from your audience if you drop them. So let's go. Depending on the musicians in your band and the pressure involved in the show, there's always the potential that if a tom fill is altered or filled in with the snare instead, it could throw them off. The ideal situation is to catch the stick, but if it does not happen, make sure you and your band can be flexible. As far as other stick throws, you could take a stick and throw it from your right-hand side to your left, just like this. It's almost like a juggling pattern. And incorporate your playing while you're doing it, as you'll see throughout this tape. Now, if you drop the sticks, you shouldn't be too excited about it. Like this. Well, see, I caught that one, though. But, okay. If you drop a stick, don't get embarrassed, because that's the worst thing for you. You're going to drop a stick. It's no big deal, as long as you keep on playing. Because once you lose your confidence, that's it. You're not going to be able to do these techniques. You have to take chances, because that's just the nature of the business here. Sometimes what I like to do during performance is to have a drum tech catch with my roadie. That is Mr. Dave here. How you doing? And it's just done by a horizontal motion like this, and we throw it while I'm playing a song or a groove, where I have space, of course. Dave, could you get a little more horizontal here? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, no! Hey, thanks a lot for watching my video. I had a great time, and I know when you're using these visual and special effects, you'll have a great time too. And remember, a drummer should not only be heard, but seen. See you later.